also a Spectrum customer, so it's probably going to take a minute to get to it.
All right, let's see if this works.
Yeah, it's kicking on now.
All right, good deal.
Yep.
All right.
Shows live over here too.
Yeah.
Good deal. We are live, we are streaming, and we are on. All right. So, can house bricks become real batteries? Can a frying pan withstand 3 times the heat of the sun? And just how did a fun project become an entertainment staple? Well, these and other questions we're going to be talking about tonight. Welcome to the November edition, I guess 11th episode. We started this in January of Inventor Friday. I'm Don Skaggs, your host of tonight's little soiree. And with me tonight, Leo is not with us tonight. He is on assignment, and but he will be here next month. So and taking care of all the little problems that we normally deal with with this sort of thing. So anyway, tonight we have. Are you ready to go around the room? All right, we have Chris Whitler. Almost there.
Wrong camera.
Wrong camera. There we go.
That's the answer.
I told you we were going to go over there.
I should have done that.
Around the room.
Oh no, I'm going to make you work for it, George.
I wasn't even looking.
I'm going to make you work. Yeah. Across from me
He's
is
an ugly person first.
across from me, and in Leo's normal seat is Chris Whitler. Chris, tell us who you are, what you do, what you're all about.
So I am a woodworker, and just in the past year, we were part of Create Now Makerspace as members, and we did a lot of woodworking, which led to 3D printing, metalworking, laser cutting, and then I started becoming jack of all trades as far as crafting goes. I also work part-time at Woodcraft, so that's my favorite job in the world. And then I am also a tow truck driver on the side. Prior to that, I was engineering and installations and specialties for concrete trucks across the country. And I did that for about, I think it was my 5th year, right before I ended up leaving that job.
Wow. So you are multi-talented, in addition to having launched a new makerspace.
Correct.
All right.
Well,
That I guess once we get everybody introduced, we'll kind of run into that. And across from me and to my right is Julie. Julie, tell us who you are, what you're all about.
I'm Julie Butramovich. I'm a web developer working with these guys with Lexington Makerspace. I've been doing web dev for about 15 years now, for the same company actually. And so this is a side gig, but it's been a lot of fun getting to help build and create this new space for it.
Very cool. Very cool. And to my left, just to keep George on his toes, across the table, on the side of the table, other end of the table is David Nadeau.
Yes.
I was about to mispronounce your name.
I'm French Indian Polak. Anything you want to say, I will go for it. Nadeau, hey you, I'm there.
I'll take you up on that.
I'm an antique, and I am semi-retired as a farrier, a horseshoer by trade. Love my work, but I love the medium of wood. It is so spectacular in nature. And Chris and the others have helped me learn a little bit more about it. And I have all of my fingers intact. I want to try more.
Yeah, number one job is keep all your fingers in.
That is. But I've had a great life. I've been special with the horses. Bragg, 23 Kentucky Derby winners.
Wow.
No one else can say that. And I'm privileged. I've met some great people, had a fun time, enjoyed life, lost a lot of money, made almost as much money. Like Evel Knievel. I made $4 million, I spent $8 million. I'm on my way.
Yeah. And it sounds like you had a ball doing it too.
I've enjoyed life. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so these three folks tonight with us as guests. Oh, and of course, George. George, I almost left you out. George, introduce yourself.
Oh.
Tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Hitting the clicker here to pick the right camera, which is easier said than done.
So if you see me elbowing someone to my right, it's George to change the camera. So, all right. Well, so these three folks with us tonight, David, Chris, and Julie, in that almost sounds kind of like the opening to Land of the Lost.
Well, I was thinking more of a
David,
musical.
Chris, and
Yeah.
Julie. On a routine. Okay. So you all have started something really big here in Lexington, Kentucky. You started the Lexington Makerspace. And it just sounds really cool to who wants to talk about the Makerspace? Just tell us a little bit about it.
I believe Chris should be the first speaker about that. He
All
is
right.
the one that is actually the basis of the entire episode.
All right.
He's our leader.
Thank you.
Fearless leader.
Yeah, so one of the things me and David we've been kind of like we were originally just good talking buddies inside of the wood shop at Create Now Makerspace, and he was making barrel staves and doing like shot glass like for doing bourbon flights. And I always loved it because at least when he was sanding, it smelled like a distillery in there. I was like, I think this dude's drinking, and they're like, no, he's doing bourbon barrel staves. But anyways, we started collaborating and coming up with a few ideas, and we just decided, hey, you know what? I think we should do a woodworking partnership. So after 5 years with a company called Fleet TLC, I decided to go ahead and leave. I decided to take a part-time job as tow truck driver, just sitting. I wanted to learn that. I thought it was interesting and fun.
Cool.
And then about 30 minutes after I put in my 2-week notice, I get the news that, hey, by the way, here in about a month, they're going to close the makerspace. And I kind of sat there at the tow yard, watched the sunset. And then I called David and I said, well, I have an idea. I said, we're going to need all of that woodworking equipment anyways. We're going to need to find a place. And there's other members right now that are trying to figure out what garages, what storage units, do they have a 240 inside of a small 8x10 storage unit? I said, let's go find a place. We were originally going to find a place and we would just, have a normal lease and form our woodworking business. But then, cut to about 3 weeks later, we're looking at properties and stuff for a makerspace. And
Wow.
we have all these other people on board. And we want to also make sure to thank that the creators of Create Now Makerspace, we wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for them and stuff. And, big shout out to Doug Clark with Clark Industries for helping us get on our feet with that. And, kind of telling us, the ins and outs of a makerspace. And, I also want to thank Michael too as well for as far as getting me in and teaching me the parts of like the metal side, because the metal actually played into a lot of role of where we were continuing to go to not just doing woodworking but 3D printing and also woodworking.
Wow.
So a few more talks. We went through like we went through one property and it looked pretty good. It looked like, hey, it was a lot of work. But then I totally forgot, and it was another member that used to live over in that area. So he goes, dude, you don't want to be here at like 9 o'clock at night. It's a water treatment plant. And
it's across the street from the cemetery.
Yeah, so it's got a horrible smell like after 7:30. Like that whole area of Lexington is just awful at night. And so then we looked at another property and it was more industrial and it didn't have that good feeling. It didn't have like it needed work done. And that's what we want to do is as makers, we want to be able to make it ours. And it looked like it was already set to theirs. So then a guy named Chad Hurley, he ends up, calling me and says, hey man, I've got this guy. So I come over there and I go and check it out and I just look at the property. The gate was closed. I couldn't see anything about it, but I already knew it had a good feeling. So that's when I was like, I called David and I said, okay, I think I found it. We need to go here like tomorrow and we need to meet this guy. And from there on, we decided to go ahead and form it. And it's taken a couple months, but we are finally getting there. And we start our first orientation on Tuesday.
So you all are just right at the beginnings of all this then.
Yeah, it's been a really long beginning. But it's finally coming to, and we're really happy because the last couple days we've been setting up, finalizing some stuff with the makerspace, and it's the first time we've got to use some of the power tools finally.
Oh, cool.
And we were just excited doing that. I was like, good, now the hard part's over. Let's get to do the fun part.
So,
we actually, Don, we haven't actually done any of our own personal projects.
Yeah, we put them all
About 3 months, and I have things stacked up waiting at home. My Martha, I think we're divorced. I'm not sure. She hasn't seen me in a long time.
you got
My
to show her
dog doesn't
three
even
pieces.
know my name.
You got to show her 3 pieces ID to get in the door, right?
That it is. But it has been fun. It's been interesting. We've met a lot of nice people that really helped us. And more call every day trying to become part of this. And the makerspace is going to be fantastic for everyone.
Yeah. I'm so excited, Leo, and I'm just so glad that Leo and I got a sneak peek into the place. What was that? Was that last week?
It was last week, and
yeah,
there's way big of a difference now.
Oh, I
And
can
it does
only
change
imagine.
dramatically now.
Yeah. We actually had some footage or whatever. We haven't uploaded it yet, but we had some footage of when you guys were there and
Oh,
then what
man.
it is now. Just for that before and after was quite a difference.
Oh, cool.
And I should tell you, I have slept twice already this
Just
last
twice.
week.
Just twice. Oh goodness. Well, think I've got some pictures here, some things. I've got your website that I can share, and
Yeah, and that's
we should mention
Julie. Yeah,
Julie is
Yeah.
our
all right,
website.
Yeah,
Julie,
she's
tell us
big,
about the
big
Without
website.
Julie, we would not be here.
yeah. Like she really, as far as all of the digital stuff, the information we had to find, even down to like some of the instruments that we end up using. She can search it so much faster, and it's the only person I met that can hold a laptop in one hand and still type and be able to search it.
I'd
on
love
my
to learn
phone.
that
Scared me
skill.
quite a
Yeah.
bit.
So you can actually see like in the website. So she worked really hard just to get this live
Oh,
today.
this is so cool. It's
Yeah.
before and after.
And you
Yeah.
can slide
But
it back and forth.
You can
Watch
slide
it
it.
slide.
Yeah.
Oh, oh wow.
So that's what it was before. There's
So
me.
that's the before.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was actually even still more clean. There was
Right.
way more
Yeah.
stuff in there. And we didn't even have, I think, a photo of
We
that.
don't have the
Yeah.
true before pictures because we didn't think we were going to get that particular space in the warehouse.
Wow.
So I
Yeah.
didn't get pictures of that one before we
And
cleared it out.
and this is the after.
And that's
Same-
even
same
changed
spot.
also
Yeah.
now.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And you can see the lighting. That was like the hardest tackle that we had to do was
Oh, all
the
those
lighting.
lights, yeah.
Oh yeah, because we had to come up with an idea of how to do the racking, how to getting the power. And our electrician, big shout out to Anthony Grigsby.
Yes.
He's the one that
Anthony
did our
helped us.
electrics, and he did such a wonderful job. He made sure to go through it. He noticed the code, things like that. Getting all of it to spec, and I think he was in there for almost 6 days straight.
Yeah.
Just getting all of the wiring done, just to get this place set up.
Okay, Julie, that is so cool. I don't know how you did that, but I love that. Cool.
This
Very
factory was originally, I think, developed
It
in
was-
1946.
1946, it was Hughes Aircraft. I actually got to see some photos, which I will try and find, but they have photos from the 70s where they have armed guards at every entrance.
Cool.
And there was a
Oh.
place where you had to unload your purse. You had to unload, like they strip searched you and all this other stuff. So they did a lot of military projects in there
Oh,
before
look.
even Unicon became. Yeah, it was all of us last week.
Oh, that's the day we were there.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool. That is so neat.
Please notice that the floor was clean that day.
Yeah.
Yes, it was clean that day. Oh, that's just so neat. Okay, how'd you do this effect here? This is cool.
Do you know what that is?
What is that?
If you could see below the bottom edge of that
Whoops.
photo, it's the outdoor lighting of the garage door area where we walk in.
Really?
Yeah.
And it just kind of
Yep.
did that effect.
Yep.
That is just amazing. That is so cool.
If you notice the water tower behind Chris and Julie have contacted the city. We now have permission to put our logo on that water.
Oh, wow.
We do have a local artist. She was a
Her name
member of
is-
Creed now, Haley Johnson, and then
Mhm.
Stephanie Runyon as well. We're trying to see if we can get them out there to doing the Lex Make up there, or the Lexington Makerspace, or even Make Everything. We haven't really pinpointed exactly what we want to do with it yet, but we want to try and get them out there.
Now, don't
Um,
you have, let's see if I'm remembering this right. Yeah.
I tried
So
to
is
get
that what
Julie.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. So Julie actually was the one that was doing that. And I was like, man, that looks really good. I think we were sitting outside of a shell or something like that. I had to get a phone case. Yeah, I had a new phone. And you were like, you got to check this out. I wrote Lexington like a million times, but let me also show you this. And I take a look at that, and I was thoroughly impressed. I said, that is perfect on everything that we need to have. But that
With
water
that,
tower,
we
you
can
see
make
everywhere.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, make everything. Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. That is so cool. Okay, let's look.
I tried to get Julie to climb onto that tower.
Yeah, I'm not getting up there either.
All right,
It's
I've
100
not been successful.
It's 119
Right.
feet up, I
She
think.
probably said right after you, right?
I will follow you up there.
We saw the guys changing the bolts. So there's a new state code that you have to go from 9/16 bolts to 5/8 bolts for all water towers. So they were converting all of those, and you could hear them dropping one of those bolts from how high up, and it was putting 4-inch dents into the grass. And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I was like, oh wow, I was like, did it already get terminal velocity? It was very quick. And he was just like, yeah, he goes, it's terrible because you got to dig them out. So that's why they had their little shovel there, so that way they could get the bolts out of the grass.
Oh my gosh.
That's the blueprints that Julie did. So we had to come up with these blueprints because originally, if you can look at the space that doesn't have any of the danger squares
Mhm.
in there,
The danger squares.
yeah, that's what we call them. That's like the
Danger.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we looked at that space first, and we went back and forth on it because some members asked for offices, and then we just decided to just clear it out because it was just about 4 or 5 of them, and that really didn't help out the community as far as like members and stuff. But anyways, we went and did measuring until like almost 2:30 in the morning or something like that, just to get the whole layout.
Wow.
So
Every inch was a little square.
yeah. And we had to rip all these offices down. This was our moving day and stuff like that. We were moving a lot of things over from Create Now into this place. And this was the back entrance. So we had a really big group effort from a lot of the Create Now members.
Oh, that's a cool shot too.
We had 14 chiefs and 3 Indians doing the work.
Yeah. And then, so we had to move all that equipment almost close to 4 or 5 times. You can actually see me and David's wood project right there in the pallet jack and stuff. And,
yeah.
and
We had a stack of like 8 different
like
massive
massive
pieces
slabs.
of wood.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
And then this was like one of our first meetings stuff. We were actually coming up with ways. So he has a domino jointer, which is a really good staple point for like tables or any form of woodworks. And we were just looking at ideas for the website that day. And then we were looking into like 3D printing. Our ADHD went off the rails, and we were looking at 3D printing dominoes to, be able to save. And this is how we were conducting our first setups just for the website, was these 2 little tiny chairs and in a corner in a dark warehouse. And all we saw was all of our equipment going, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Or better yet, where are we going to put it?
Yeah, I was like, where are we going to put all of this stuff? Yeah. This was that was a flammable room, by the way. So that's where our ceramic studio is going to be, and a teaching studio as well. We changed out all those lights. We had to pressure wash all that paint off. David had to do most of the pressure washing. He had to do all the draining with it because there wasn't a drain in there.
There's a great
And
picture of
painting.
David standing in the
Yeah, he's like sitting in like 4 or 5 inches of water.
We have
just-
that one in here?
I think, yeah, it's just a
Okay,
few
I'm
of them
gonna-
over
I'm
or
gonna find them.
something.
They're not in order,
Yeah.
but it's
Ah,
that one.
Yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
there you
Yeah.
go.
And he's just surrounded. So
Oh
you
wow.
can see the ripples in the
The
water.
ripples in the water.
and that took about like almost a whole week just in regards to just the ceramics room. And
We wanted to be certain that it was healthy for anyone and everyone.
yeah.
We went above and beyond to make these proper for everybody that comes into our facility.
And I think when we got there, I mean, all this was all nice and cleaned up.
Yeah, it's
and
brand, yeah, almost
yeah,
brand new.
look new.
There'll be
Yeah.
some future shots of that.
Yeah,
There's a couple in here of the mural.
yeah, this is all the stuff we had to tear out. That was about a 9-hour day just tearing the offices apart, and
Yep.
Wow.
they were sealed into the concrete of that structure, and that was a real pain in the
I can
butt.
put that on my resume now.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we have a cargo bay area and stuff like that. So when Omtech delivered the laser and stuff, we ended up actually, he goes, man, this is probably the best delivery I've had to make so far. And then David Deanhart actually helped us out with getting that laser calibrated. Big shout out to him. He was there for about 4 hours just having a nitpick and get it down, and we finally got it up and running. And of course, that's some of our equipment, the saw stop, as far as the safety goes.
Well, what all can you do out of it? Oh, there's a mural.
Yeah, that was a
Alright.
recent, that was finished right before she went to the beach, but she said she ain't got no feet. She goes, her shoes were painted. So Stephanie said she said she'll get the feet back when she gets there. She goes, just say that she's got white shoes for right now.
Oh, that's funny. So tell us about what all can you do at a makerspace?
Well, I understand it, as far as corniness sounds, you can make everything, but a lot of the OG members or the old guard members of Create Now, they showed the things that they've done. They've done everything from building their own drones to building an airplane, flute hogs. We were making art pieces. We've had a lot of success stories. There was one lady, I think, that was printing urns for your pets, and that's how she made a living. She was 3D printing like biodegradable urns for your pets. And actually, the guy that got me into 3D printing, Blake Mitchell, big, really big thanks to him for opening the door for everything on me. He was making like electric dirt bikes. Me and David were just wanting to work on wood, and then we started incorporating multiple things in there where we were like, hey, we're going to do this wood piece, but we're also going to use a plasma cutter, we're going to use a 3D printer, we're going to use this, and we utilized all of that into that one thing. So a makerspace gives you access to a multitude of different machines that you can't really house inside of your garage. Like we have a CNC router that's 5x10. That's not like you can really put that in a 2-car garage and hope you're not going to get sawdust on, whatever car you got in there.
Right.
You're definitely going to upset your wife. And then you got to also get an electrician to come out there, and then you ain't got no room for your table saw. So this gives you access to all of the things that you may not be able to put in your garage. And if you got a garage that big, good job.
Right.
We're really jealous of you right now, but until then, we're gonna have to do this. So, but we have 3D printers, we have lasers, we have welders, we have industrial woodworking equipment down to very small specifics of woodworking. So we have a big drill press, a small one. We have a big giant planer. We have a small planer. We try to make sure to hit the artistry part of carpentry, but also like, as far as production goes and commercial.
Well, sounds like you could almost do anything in there.
My dad literally stated, he goes, I'm going to build my house here. That was exactly, he goes, I can get all my cuts, I will buy a truck. He goes,
One piece at a time.
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is so cool, guys. So if someone is interested in joining the makerspace, being involved somehow, they just need to go to the website.
Yes.
Lexmake.org. I love that domain. You all really.
That
Happy accident.
Yeah, that was a very happy accident.
Oh, so cool.
That
So
was Julie's
cool.
creation.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, let's move on to some interesting topic. Oh, I almost forgot our sponsor. Our sponsor tonight is. No, I don't have it pulled up. Hang on, guys. Our sponsor tonight is Total Health Works. So we are in what we like to call the Total Health Works studio. It's one of our own. It is, and I don't have it up. Do I? No, sorry, guys. Hang on. We're almost there. Did I mention Leo wasn't here tonight?
Is that to
So-
kill time? What was
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that was a time killer.
Segue to something else.
Pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah.
It went right over me, yes.
So if you are looking to super boost your brain power, well, one of our own inventor entrepreneurs did a startup with the help of some grant money from the National Science Foundation. He has developed a platform to help people with Parkinson's, brain health. He originally was originally for people with neurodegenerative diseases, and he's done some amazing work with these folks. But now we've learned that it actually can help anyone that really wants to boost their brain power, wants to increase their health. If you want to really, really feel like you were 10 years ago, well, this is the kind of online thing for you. And they have a lot of different scenarios now. They have online classes. They have what's called Total Brain and Body, which is really, really cool. But anyway, you do want to check it out. If you want to kind of get to that place where you're not wanting to wonder why you wandered into that room for something but can't remember what it was, then you want to check them out. It's totalhealthworks.com. They've, like I said, they have done some amazing things for some people with some awful problems. Imagine though what they could do for you. So be sure and check that out. We are so thankful to have them as a partner and to have this facility that we get to do a lot of really, really cool stuff in. So now let's move on. We're
Don, I have a question.
Go for it.
If I took twice the normal dose, you think that would help me? 'Cause I know I have difficulty.
Yeah.
Sometimes I remember saying, did I lace my boots up? Did I stick them up? So maybe if you
And there were slip-ons, right?
I have some of those, but I would love to have that. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So what
Now, he was with you, with your group at one
yeah,
time?
he was one of our inventors, came to us, and this is a cool story about it. So he showed up with us, physical therapist, and he said, I've got this idea for this product. And he brought in what we call a Frankentype.
Right.
Because we talk about prototypes as Frankentypes and then demo types. So the ugly one, the one that nobody likes,
Like me? Was that a personal? Okay. All right.
knives and bear skins, just all this, you've snuck out to the graveyard of broken products and spare parts, basically, and you made a build a Frankentype. So he showed up with a laser pointer and Post-it notes. That's
interesting.
That was his first product, his first Frankentype. And so from that, he developed and he built it, and it had a lot of iterations, a lot of pivots, and now he's got this online platform where they combine cognitive exercise with physical exercise, and they do tracking. So there's a hardware component, so it tracks your health, and it says, okay, you did really well on this day. Your activity was also this. And it gets you all this data, but then you're also like working with people, and then you're exercising with other people as well online.
Multifaceted.
So, but you're exercising your mind and your body at the same time. So
I have difficulty. Sometimes when I do that, I go to sleep. Is that the same?
yeah, well, you won't go to sleep with these guys.
What the hardware component, is it like something wrist or
so he's got right now in one of the iterations, he has a wrist wearable, so an activity tracker. He has a blood pressure monitor, a sleep mat. Sleep mats boggles my mind. You stick it under the mattress, and it tells you everything about your sleep. How long did I sleep? How well
so
did
I have
sleep?
seen that, and it actually, like, it really does. I've seen a few iterations of that as well, and it's actually quite impressive, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's amazing.
The iWatch, I think, did that for a little while too, or something.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people take their iWatch off at night. They want to charge it because it's not lasting a whole day. So that's really.
So yeah, and what he did was he integrated all of these things together into kind of one platform that took all the data and then did something useful with it to kind of help guide them forward with their progress of their.
How long did it take him to utilize this, to learn from this?
There was, with all the iterations and everything, he started in 2018. So,
and that's just to get to the Frankentype.
No.
Okay.
That was he came to us with in 2018 with a Frankentype. but now he has products actually on the market. And his second iteration product is just launched this year. So yeah, we're really excited for him, what he's doing, and all the different things he's doing with it. So yeah, and that's the building we're in. So all right.
Now, what city are we in now?
We are in Nicholasville, Kentucky.
I know where that is. That's just outside of Lexington.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I've been there. I've been there.
Oh, all right. Let's move on to some inventions in history. So this first one up is we're going to go into the Wayback Machine to November 2nd of 1955. And what happened on that date is, well, Jim Henson's Kermit the Frog was copyright registered. And this was kind of an interesting story. You don't think of Jim Henson and the Muppets as something that would involve innovation, but it was. So he started working with puppets at a young age on TV, and he didn't really intend to work with puppets, but he said it was kind of interesting. And so he created and started performing something called Sam and Friends. But he moved on from that, and then actually did some work. And believe it or not, one of the first Muppets that he made, that he actually filed for patents for, were used in a commercial in the 1950s that I had never ever even heard of. And it's pretty wild. Let me see if I can pull up the YouTube video.
That
Well,
reminds
it's
me of
pretty
almost
close,
like
but-
Sherry Lewis
Yeah.
and the Little Lamb.
That was
Yeah.
almost-
Remember that?
So this is early, and the sound may not work here. Whoops. Hang on, guys. I don't know how well the sound's going to work. But we'll play it. Nope, the sound's not going to work. Sorry, guys.
I'd say that's probably the Franken type of Kermit the Frog, right?
That is the Franken type of
I was
it,
gonna
yeah.
say, yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing, so it was this place called Wilkins Coffee, and there's a whole series on here. Some of them I'm not even going to show because they're like violent. It's like,
Yeah, they
like,
had the bandwagon. just
yeah,
rolling
yeah,
across.
yeah. The bandwagon was rolling over him, and so there's Wilkins and Wonkins, and I guess one guy does not like the coffee, and the other one does, and so it's like all these just weird
I
commercials.
just can't tell where I've seen that.
Right now, I'm
that
thinking
Muppet
of,
from.
oh, Mr. Bill.
And if you
Oh,
could
Mr.
hear the
Bill.
voices, the funny thing is they sound like Kermit the Frog. and one of the other Muppet characters. So it's just see there, he's blowing him up. So it's just wild. So you're get on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, that's a
I know,
guillotine. That's
So
so.
this is, I don't think they're and of course they're laughing about
They're
it.
like,
So-
that's how we cut our
Yeah,
coffee
yeah.
beans. Actually,
Right,
that's how we do it.
exactly. So
my
anyway,
gosh.
yeah, I mean, so that's how you started, and you see how much this looks like the patent drawings. So would you think that
I would have never expected that.
no?
Like, as far as patenting a puppet, so that means that every single one of Jim Henson's creations, did he actually have to patent each additional
I
puppet? Yeah.
don't know if he patented each one. Maybe it was kind of like, okay, if they did this, and again, patents are more like functionality. So it's okay, we had sticks moving their arms, and we had we had them in this configuration.
Or like a
That-
manufacturer patent
Yeah.
or something. Like that was the design.
How
So they
the
had the
function.
first type of patent, then the second type was the
Mhm.
processing, then the third would be the
Yep.
manufacturing.
Now let's see if I can find the Instagram. This is kind of interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so this is the USPTO's Instagram, and okay, this is what struck me. The odd thing, the U.S. Patent Office has an Instagram account. So would I have thought of that? No,
They've
but
patented their own account
They've
name and
patented their own
everything
account,
else.
that's right. So, and they're kind of talking about it, but he did. Jim Henson had trademarks as well as the patents, and of course the cool thing about that is the patents last 20 years. So 1959 is a long time ago, so they've ran out.
Well,
The
it's
trademarks still going on.
I was gonna say, as far as like their their copyrights and stuff like that. Didn't they get into a bunch of trouble with Disney in regards to the Muppet 3D movie? Like there was apparently, I think it was in 92 or 94 or something like that. There was a massive lawsuit where Jim Henson or whatever his production company went after Disney, but I think they settled because Disney was like, we're going to give you $50 million to do the Muppets 3D movie. And I think that's where after that, there was nothing else as far as Muppets related with Disney.
That's
But
interesting.
I can't remember the exact story, but I remember they went after Disney and they won.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a bad day for Disney.
There's that patent infringement.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know why that zoomed way in.
It could have been your personality.
I don't know. Something else.
Oh, that's it. Moving around. Oh, a little more to the left.
It'll be all right.
Oh, excellent.
I'll figure it out eventually. But yeah, no, I will look into that. I was actually kind of curious about that because I know a lot about Jim Henson. So
Yeah. So, you know, another thing that struck me about it is just how this was just a fun project for him, but then it turned out to be his life.
Yes.
Puppets. I mean, who would imagine?
there was a
Internationally known too.
yeah. I was about to say everyone knows him.
recognizable.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes just a fun project can be part of a big industry. So, all right, let's fast forward.
How hard is it to file a trademark?
Yeah, for like
Oh, it's much easier than that.
So you would much rather do a trademark than a patent?
Yeah. It's cheaper, it's easier to do, it's easier to file. You know, you think about it, trademark is, you know, it's a name, it's, you know, like we were talking earlier, it's Kroger or it's you know, whatever, your Total Health Works or it's whatever, it's trademark. And sometimes it's a logo, sometimes it's, you know, it's an image, sometimes it's a name, but it is your brand, it's your trademark. And so those are kind of easy to file because it's like, okay, this is what it is, this is what it says, this is what it looks like. And there's not a tremendous amount of paperwork compared to a patent, which patent is all about functionality. Patent is all about, you know, okay, this is how it works. It works this novel way. And I always like to say when you're writing a patent, you're really kind of telling a story. And you're saying, well, you know, this is the problem that exists in the world today. And here's all the things that people have done in the past and patents that they've filed and technologies that they've used to try to solve this problem. And those were all worthy tries, but they weren't this. This is different, and this is why. And that's basically what you're doing when you're writing. You're telling that story, but you're doing it in a very legalese and very just kind of functional way of, you know, here's all the pieces, here's all the parts. You're basically describing a property line, you know, like they used to do with property, saying, okay, from this tree to this rock to this lamp post is the property. Well, that's basically what you're doing with a patent. You're like describing all that. So it's a lot more involved. And so that's why it's more paperwork.
It costs a lot more money too.
And it costs more money too.
Yeah, it's thousands.
So that's kind of like Edison finding 999 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That I can understand.
1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So,
but you would need a lawyer for both to continue.
You could. We have a lot of inventors that will do it. What's called pro se. They'll do it all. For instance, my first patent, and my favorite strategy actually is for number one to pretend that William Shakespeare got his way, and all the attorneys have died. No offense to any attorneys out there, but you have to write it yourself because there are no attorneys. So you write it just like you're going to send it yourself, and then before you do that, you take it to 3 attorneys. And you go to each one, and I treat attorneys just like plumbers or electricians. I say, okay, this is how far I took it. This is what it is. Tell me now what you can do to clean this up, fix it up, and give me my best chance.
Make it presentable.
Give me my best chance at getting a patent, what they call a notice of allowance or patent issued. And you go to 3 of them, and so you're getting quotes. So it's not like smoke and mirrors anymore. Now you're actually, plus you're getting to learn about the lawyers and who's good, who's not.
Same thing with provisional patents too. Like you can
Yeah.
actually,
Oh,
so those are a little bit easier to come
much
across,
easier.
right?
Much
Yeah.
easier, and a lot of inventors will do them.
And it does give you time to be able to probably set a business model or production as far as funding to being able to get the permanent patent with it.
Yeah.
But is there any risks though with that? Like, let's say you have a provisional patent and you come out with something. Is there a way that someone else could be able to come off a rendition of it and then patent it faster before you file your patent completely?
Interesting question. So, and this is what I'll see with a lot of inventors. A lot of inventors, they'll get just all caught up in the paranoia of, oh no, what if somebody steals my idea? Don, I can't show anybody this. I can't. Well, when you file a provisional patent, you immediately after you get the certification online, which is usually right away, that yes, okay, you have filed the provisional patent, you can put patent pending. And that is your, you could say protection, but maybe not so much. You're not protected like there's a big steel wall all around your property. But here's the thing: you get a patent issued. I always think about patents like their security systems or locks on your doors at your home. So you can spend tens of thousands of dollars for the most the biggest, most expensive security system money can buy. Or you can take a chair and shove it up underneath the doorknob.
Right.
Either way, if somebody is big enough, they want your stuff bad enough, they'll get a bulldozer, knock down one of your walls, come in and steal all your stuff. So that's kind of how I look at it. Of there's going to be risk no matter what. There's no amount of money or time or powerful attorney that's going to keep bad people from doing bad things. So bad people are always going to do bad things. So, and especially if you're a small inventor, if you're a bootstrap startup, which I work with a lot of those folks, we don't have a lot of money to spend. We can't compete with the large multinational corporations that are dropping $10,000 for, or $20,000 or $50,000 for a patent.
Well, not just that, you want to see it flourish. A lot of things that you might bring up to a lot of companies, they'll go, yeah, we'd love to buy it. And then they just shove it right under the door.
Oh, yeah.
And they just don't want anything because it might affect two other products that they've got patented.
Exactly. A lot of them are, not invented here. If it's not invented here, we're not here. So we don't want to hear it. They're putting their hands over their ears going, la, 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 la. No, don't tell us anything. And they'll do that, but and of course those are not the ones you want to talk to.
Yeah.
So but yeah, you can and one good example of trademarks over patents is I always like is the jeans, the Wrangler. Is it Wrangler jeans? No,
Levi's. Yeah,
the ones with the stitch on the back.
Yeah.
So
that's patented. That
is trademarked. So if they had gotten a patent back in 1880, whatever, it would have been run out before the turn of the 20th century.
Oh, okay.
But they got a trademark, and guess what? They just refile for that. They keep that alive and keep that going, and it's still good today, and it's very enforceable. So a trademark kind of trumped that a good bit. And speaking of that, actually, that's a good segue to our next item here. And that is Trivial Pursuit. So if anyone is old enough to remember the game Trivial Pursuit, well, Trivial Pursuit in November 10th, tonight, this is the whatever anniversary from 1981. I don't know how many years is that, but I don't know if I want to know. So Trivial Pursuit was trademarked. So they actually trademarked this design, this logo, this this piece of it.
I wish I could write my T's like that in cursive. It's just so pretty.
Yeah, I know, right? There people can do that freehand.
Yeah, I can't do that. I want to do that.
Me it's chicken scratching. So anyway, they I think the more interesting story is here. So Trivial Pursuit. So in 1981, they filed for that, and they actually had a couple of legal actions. So there was this one lawsuit, let's see, $300 million lawsuit against the distributors of Trivial Pursuit, claimed more than a quarter of the questions in the game's Genius Edition had been taken from his books, even to the point of reproducing typographical errors and deliberately placed misinformation. And I had to stop there and I thought, okay, why are they deliberately? And they said that's so they could catch anyone that would violate the code. So in other words, they put specific errors in their books. So they said, if anybody copied us, we'll know.
They set false traps in. That's crazy.
That's
They're like, yeah, we're coming after you in court. It's like, dude, you want to play games with us? We make games. We're going to ruin you.
we cheat the cheaters.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
it's like Milton Bradley. Like, I mean, oh man, like huge.
Yeah. So, but they, the inventors' Trivial Pursuit won. So they, books were among their sources, but argued that it was not improper, that the facts, are not protected by copyright.
Okay.
So, so that was an interesting case. And then there was another one. This one is.
Can you copyright facts though? Like,
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can.
You
it's gonna be fiction, right?
Yeah. Again, copyright's all about creativity. So. It's like earlier we were talking about the guy with the sandwich in the restaurant that copied the sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, and again, I'm jumping way ahead, but it's if it's creatively done a different way, then
It's like a Reuben sandwich, you'd be able to copyright it, right?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's put a pin in that. Well, I do want to talk about this other lawsuit, though. This was interesting. 1994, David Wall of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, launched a lawsuit against the game's creators. He claimed that in the fall of 1979, he and a friend were hitchhiking near Sydney, Nova Scotia. They were picked up by Chris Haney. Now, Chris Haney is like one of the creators. You see him up here up at the top. But anyway, they that he claimed that he told Haney about his idea for the game in detail, including the shape of the markers. So there was over the years there was much legal wrangling, notably around the suit. Suit should be decided by a judge or jury, which that's kind of weird legalese. And then in June 2007, they ruled against Wall. So so this guy said, hey, they pitched me up hitchhiking. I told him about it, and then he sued him. So, and this kind of goes back to the thing about, can you protect yourself ultimately with a patent? Well, anybody can say, yeah, this guy picked me up hitchhiking and I told him about the idea. So it kind of makes it, this is where the whole risk thing is. It's like, I've been copied with product. And when I was copied with, I've walked into trade shows and had what looked like all the way down to my literature was the same, except they like move the pictures and words around a little bit.
So who owns Trivial Pursuit? Like, as far as like, is it Mattel, Milton Bradley, or are they their own entity?
Let me look back at this.
I am curious about that because I watched a lot about Milton Bradley and how they set up like their models and everything for all of their games.
Let's see. They the rights were initially licensed to Sechow and Ryder in '82 and the Parker Brothers.
Oh,
later
so
part of Hasbro, yes. So
okay.
Hasbro's the one.
Forgot about Hasbro.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's who owns them now. So yeah. So that kind of begs the question: does a trademark beat a patent sometimes?
I would say yeah. I would absolutely say
I go back to the gene argument. I really do. I kind of go back to
as far as like a patent, like Festal, for instance, the domino jointer. So you can see biscuit joiners, you can see dowel rod makers, but Festal is the only company where you can be able to do domino jointing. Like, it's the only company you're going to buy a device that does that.
Describe a domino
Really?
for them.
So a domino, essentially, like when you have a dowel, you're essentially taking a wooden long rod and you're drilling a hole into whatever your wood is, and you're forming it to another piece of wood that's also been drilled. Well, the problem that you run into is that it could be off, and with dowels, if they're off just by a couple millimeters, it can cause it to warp. Biscuits inside of the wood tend to wave a little bit more under certain pressures. You can't really get thick biscuits in there. Well, with a domino, they make them very thick, different sizes, and I think they've even patented the domino itself, like the shape of the wood. And so the machine will go into it and it will kind of mortise it into a domino and back out. And that way you put your domino and you're making a really secure system, and actually even kind of like levels out the wood itself, because it's not just hitting a round area, it's hitting two flat surfaces. So it makes it a little bit easier.
Well, Larry pointed something out in the chat. He said that this actually it was a design patent. I had it wrong. It wasn't a utility patent. I completely blanked out on that. It's a design patent, and the design means strictly ornamental. I almost wonder if that company you're talking about has a design patent, because they're like,
They've got a lot of patents on a lot. I know that they're like Snap-on as far as the woodworking world goes.
oh, really?
So Festool, if you roll up with a whole bunch of Festool stuff, now I will admit their carrying stuff does not beat Milwaukee's by far. I mean, you could drop it, and I know that thing's gonna break. So, but other than that,
the Harbor Freight of
it's like the most expensive Harbor Freight case you're ever gonna buy. Like you could just touch it, it just feels like this water bottle,
wow.
But their
You drive
machines.
a truck over the Milwaukee.
Yeah, and we have. I've literally seen a Dodge ProMaster literally drive over a Milwaukee pack out, been totally fine.
Wow.
Festool, while they don't do good with their cases, every single thing that they make is they thought about all the R&D the same way how when NASA sent up the new rovers and stuff, they go, hey, let's do this, let's
Every
do that.
potential issue they
Yeah.
fix before it's marketed.
German, right?
Yes.
Yeah, German's very, very serious on engineering, so it's a BMW or almost in the woodworking world.
The BMW of
It's gone Mercedes, but I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah.
Because that's what they call it.
These
So
do,
much
yeah,
more
they
expensive.
do. Yeah, like your normal palm sander from Milwaukee for a plug-in is I think $79 for a random orbital. When you're getting into the Festool side, you're looking at $500 to $600 just for a sander.
wow.
$1,200 for a domino joiner. It's $2,000 for a table saw that's this big, that's made just for small miters, but you can do very intricate cutting with
But
it.
they're so beautifully made.
Yes,
Balance,
absolutely.
technique, everything.
So do you think anybody's trying to copy them, Festool?
Oh
or-
yeah. There's someone that's going to do it or try to do it. We haven't seen it yet, and Festool's been out for how long now? The track saw system, Milwaukee has one that's close to it, but not like the Festool just came out with another one this year that makes it even better. 45 miters, got locking pin systems. You can add tracks onto it, and you're not going to beat them. A lot of people when Insta 360 came out was the same way with GoPro going up against them, and now they're actually beating
Really?
GoPro.
Oh,
But that
really?
took like 10 years. Yeah, for the same price of the Insta, you get double the quality, double the battery life, you get double everything compared to what GoPro has to offer. They just had a really good R&D market because they were the front runners of action cameras.
So that's kind of the other question I had on this. So big success, does that make you a big target?
Yes, because they're going to do everything in their power. What did I see the other day? Total Wine, right? They are becoming a very booming franchise right now, and there was a billboard right over there off New Circle Road, and it says, "Don't get barned, come to Total Wine." They're literally burning Liquor Barn in that billboard.
In a billboard.
Yeah, it literally
my
says "Don't get barned," and I was like, "Wow, because that was the monopoly of liquor stores in Lexington was Liquor Barn. That's where you found your Pappy Van Winkle. That's where you got all your rare, antique stuff." But then Total Wine was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this now, and then we're gonna throw a big billboard up there too on top of it." There's never been a term of getting barned. We know what that's about.
Competition. It makes us grow.
Yeah,
It's
We
the
learn.
first one I've seen with them doing it. It was
that's
hilarious.
pretty outrageous. I wonder if Liquor Barn will
I wonder if they've saw it.
retaliate with
Like
their
the
own.
two companies with the signs that go back and forth.
Well, you know, that could be like, remember when they had gas wars?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so you know, they'd be really in cahoots, but they would just be doing it to draw attention to themselves. So I wonder if maybe they've met and somewhere.
They can't really
said,
come off of like Total Wine or whatever. Like they're totally ridiculous. Come out to Liquor Barn.
right.
I mean, like I don't think they're not going to beat Total Wine as far as like what you've seen them across. Like I travel the whole country, so you would see them at a lot of places where liquor stores were. And I always look at I saw and big respect to Twisted Cork. That's where I did open mic comedy. That's where, I think I bought my first like 6-pack of beer legally as a 21-year-old. And
So you had it illegally?
these mom and pop shop liquor stores are, I always look at them, I go, dude, how do you compete right now? Like, how do you compete to that? So
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I mean, I'll see a lot of inventors that, again, they'll get all paranoid about, oh, somebody's gonna steal my idea. And I'm thinking, dude, nobody knows about your invention yet. When you're selling $350,000, then you want to kind of worry about people, because otherwise they didn't care till you showed up everywhere. And that was our strategy, was like, okay, we can't beat you in court. We don't have $10 million to sue and all that. So we just stay one step ahead of them. And that was our strategy, was whatever we had that was big, we'd be improving. We'd have the next model ready by the time they were copying us on the Model A. And we always stayed ahead. Well, I mean, we stayed ahead of multi-billion-dollar multinational corporations because they just couldn't get it together, and we were nimble and we could move faster. And that's I always think that's the strategy for inventors, especially small inventors. And you're worried the total
Total Wine and more. And
which
Liquor
one's the
Barn.
big one? Liquor Barn.
Well, Liquor Barn
tell
was the big one, but now Total Wine's beating it.
You can tell how little I know about this. But so whoever the big dog is, okay, you're a small mom and pop, or you're the Total Wine, you're the smaller guy. So yeah, you got to do an ad like that.
It's all about working out. Like as far as that goes, it's about your vendors. Like the most important part. Like my dad is a vendor, like for Frito-Lay and everything. It's all about trying to get into certain ways and stuff. So Total Wine, they managed to be able to probably find a really good wholesaler. They managed to be able to work out a better deal, transportation, and maybe it could be just pennies less than Liquor Barn and stuff.
In volume.
Yeah, and also in volume, and just you really want to be. I think that when it comes to something like that, I think that it was right place, right time.
Yeah.
As far as trying to find that, I mean, I think Walmart had that own gig.
Timing can mean a lot.
If you remember Sprint, when they were like Nextel and Sprint, they almost took out the entire cellular market in the entire country. So they were going to have a partnership specifically with Walmart, that every single Walmart across the entire country would have their own Sprint cell phone tower. So imagine network coverage when the average Walmart is 2 miles away, 2 square miles away from any person, really. That's the average.
Yeah.
That would have completely taken over AT&T. It would have taken T-Mobile out. It would have taken all of them out. And it could have gone into the whole, Microsoft, like the one thing. So
it's having that differentiator.
Yeah, but it didn't go through. And good, the service was horrible when I had them. So
Perhaps they couldn't get the patent.
I think it was right after that stopped.
Or the trademark involved.
Or
the trademark.
Right after that stopped, you noticed when they cut that entire deal, you noticed inside Walmart, they were starting to sell prepaid of their own network. And they thought, maybe we should do this. And then you started seeing cell phone towers up there. Then you started getting Straight Talk. And then you started getting, hey, Sprint, we want to subsidize off of like your cell phone service and everything. Kind of like how you have Boost Mobile coming off of Sprints. And they're like, look, we're not going to allow you to do it, but we're going to do our own, and we're still going to make some money off of it. It's not going to be much, but it's going to be better than what you had going on.
Interesting. Well, it's coming up on Thanksgiving, so let's talk about some Thanksgiving inventions.
I love Reese's Cup. Just for the, just for the record.
Yeah, for every Thanksgiving.
Every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You want a Reese cup turkey, maybe?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Chocolate covered. I
We
love
talked-
that.
we talked
Chocolate.
Yeah.
What was it? The bacon wrap turkey that Epic Mealtime used to do, where they did the
Oh,
bacon
yeah.
weave onto the turkey itself. Yeah.
So this is let's see, this is an invention on, where did it go? Thanksgiving dinners. So this is a frozen turkey stuffer from 1960. And let's see, a way so a way to defrost your turkey before you can stuff it. So they solved it in 1956 with a preparation of stuffed fowl device. So this actually stuffed, I guess it stuffed the turkey before they froze it. So when you got it, is that how you get turkeys today?
I've never seen one stuffed now.
You've never seen the plastic bags inside the
Like I've seen the
turkeys?
plastic bags where
And the
they have
women
the
forget to
stuffing.
take them out and.
Like, oh,
I've done that.
yeah. That's
Oh.
actually kind of what I guess they eventually evolved it with I guess that's how they do the turducken. They probably have a patent out for a turducken stuffer and stuff like yeah. Because you could just buy them in the freezer section over at Kroger's now. I've literally seen them set up there, and that's pretty wild.
But this is like the first patent for that? Is that what I'm looking at?
Preparation of, yeah, this was the 1956 patent
Wow.
for preparing. So this was probably the first frozen turkeys. I guess that's how they, because now you go to Kroger, or you go to your grocery store, and it's like
Yes.
that's how you have a turkey now. And you think back in the
And you have to
old
wait
days,
3 days for it to thaw.
yeah.
Well, you got to clean it and go hunt it yourself. And that takes forever.
So I wonder how well this went over, or if it changed much. I don't really see.
I'm having trouble even understanding the
I am too.
schematic.
The only thing I could think of is like a version of plastic injection molding or something.
I thought that was
Or
a
like a
fireplace.
I bet you the guy or whatever that saw this pad and was eating turkey is like, that's pretty cool. And then he formed Build-A-Bear Workshop later.
Oh gosh. Well, this other one's
Now
kind
that I
of the
recognize.
reverse of that.
Yeah.
So this is a method for preparing edible fowl, as kind of a weird generic name.
Oh, like deboning it? and
So
stuff?
it's deboning the entire turkey at
Like-
one time.
What?
So yeah, it says, let's see, what's 1958 device attempts to provide a method for removing the bones from an edible fowl in such a manner to preserve substantially the outer skin of the fowl. So in other words, you're taking all the bones out but
Maintain
it's
its body.
without cutting it up, I guess. So yeah, that's, I don't know if that went over.
I
too
don't know how they did. In one fell swoop, you get the whole pool, like all the bones.
So this is
You feel
the
like it's
patent.
Looney Tunes.
I'm not sure how they did it though. And I think in one of the writings it said it was a little vague.
This guy was a magician.
So I
and he was
don't
just-
know if
That's spatchcocking right there, though. I did notice that figure 3 on how it's flat. I know a lot of people do that, but they don't debone their turkeys.
that's wild. So they're just pulling all the bones out of it and making it a boneless turkey.
I mean, you can get the ribs out. You can't get the legs out. Like you can't.
That is bizarre.
It's your connector.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not too sure if this. I never saw this before, and I don't think this really did.
Is
the
this
market.
just the
Did the
method
market.
itself? So that way it's just the method
It's
itself. Like
just the
these are the
method,
bones
yeah.
you have to take out. So maybe there's a standard for like,
Uh,
for instance, the FDA at Kroger's. Hey,
Yeah,
if you guys are going to spatchcock a turkey,
yeah.
this is the method that you have to follow. This is a patented method you have to follow to deboning it.
I'll bet you if they are, maybe this was for the turkey processors. It's like, we're going to sell T-bone turkeys frozen. It's like the turkey without the bones, just throw it in the oven and cook it. So I don't know. I kind of suspect that maybe this never made the market.
I wonder if anyone copied his patent. Forget that. That was
Well, okay, I'll tell you my short answer for that. If he didn't make the market, no one cared. No one cared at all. So that kind of brings up the question, can you copyright or patent food? Or can you copyright food?
Yeah,
Got an
I did
interesting
have an
article on
answer
that.
for that.
There was
Yeah.
one about Pillsbury with their biscuits at one point in time to give it that classic look. I think that they
really?
patented that look of biscuit with the spiral method.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they are kind of a spiral thing when they come out, aren't
Yeah,
they?
so that way they said that that was considered an ugly biscuit. They didn't have the manufacturing time and money to make what we considered like pretty yeast biscuits and stuff. So that can method, that was their patenting.
I believe that Orville Redenbacher, we had spoken about this earlier,
Oh, yeah.
he has over 1,000 patents for his popcorns because every time they alter the genetics of that kernel, he has a patent for that. So I believe that the answer is yes to that
Orville
question.
Redenbacher has a because that's a different classification, is what they call a plant.
Okay,
So and it has to
so
do with
that's not the same.
genetics. It has to do with genetic. Well, there's utility patent, there's design patent. So utility patent is, like we originally talked about, the function, all that. Design patent is the shape, the look, Coke bottle design patent. The plant patents was kind of a new thing, and it had to do with this is the genetic makeup. We've tweaked this and we've tweaked that and we've tweaked. I'll bet you those are the ones he's got, which
Like the
sounds
banana.
weird because if you look at the whole branding of Orville Redenbacher, you think of 19th century and popcorn and just old fashioned stuff, but they're doing genetic patents.
Those of us who drive in the countryside, when you drive beside a soybean field, cornfields in particular, you'll see specific rows of corn designated with numbers.
Yep.
Those are being test tubes for each one of those. The University of Kentucky does that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
All students have their own plots at Spindletop that they grow their own.
They want to cross
And they do the processing and they do the production numbers. So I'm going to say yes.
Well, just so happens, you can, so there was this story here. I've got it pulled up. So there's this place called Half Brothers Brewing in Grand Forks, North Dakota, that wanted to sell this really cool sandwich. So they came up with this they decided to create a sandwich called the Silo, homage to one of his favorites, the clubfoot sandwich at another place called the Staggering Ox. And so a small franchise with a few locations throughout Montana. So in other words, this guy was in South Dakota. He said, hey, this little outfit in Montana had this thing, and it's kind of a cool thing. That's the sandwich right there. So it looks like a cup.
That's wild.
So it's the cup is the bread, and then the innards of the sandwich, the meat and vegetables, all of that's on the inside.
I really want one of those sandwiches.
And don't you want one now?
I really want one.
Well, it said it's a silo,
The silo.
Silo.
so it's cylinder, isn't that?
So
the shape?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, the silo. So it looks like a
It's
silo.
ribbed and everything. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
So start eating that.
Yeah.
guess
the top?
Would you kind of turn it up like a drink and then just start
Or
chewing?
maybe you turn over sideways and start to chew it in the middle.
They could do like
like your corn cob.
they could do like a Red Bull with that eventually, maybe. I don't know. We're still trying to come up with the idea of a soup sandwich after last night's conversation.
So it says here in this article, it says all was well until this week when he got a phone call, and it was the co-owner of the Staggering Ox who asked the half brothers to please stop selling the silo, which violated Well, I like that they didn't get this cold attorney-driven cease and desist letter. They actually got a phone call. I think if you have somebody that's infringing on something, that's if you really, if they're going to be decent people, it's good to just try to talk to them.
What state was this again?
So the original one was a Staggering Ox, and that was, or the clubfoot sandwich, and that was the Staggering Ox, which was a
Dakota.
And
small
Montana.
franchise in Montana. And then this other guy had this restaurant called Half Brewing in Grand Forks, North Dakota, said, this is a cool sandwich. I'm going to make one just like it. I'm going to call it the Silo. So he got a call from these guys. So they quit making them. It's kind of interesting how he did it. He said that, so they said, okay, we only have so many of these left. So they actually turned it into a kind of a sales campaign. We just have a limited number of these now. If you want to get one, here they are. But it kind of begged the question, can you copyright a sandwich? And I liked how they did this. Oh, look, here it is.
Oh wow, that looks really good.
Yeah,
That's
so
a great
that's what it
BLT.
I love this. This is really, really cool. Look, I want one now. Can they get somebody to do this in Kentucky?
Like, I'm just wondering, like, I really don't know. Like, maybe we can. Oh, this might be stepping on their toes, but we could probably 3D print something where we can be able to put dough in there and bake it. Like, I don't know, but that could be a little bit of trouble. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just want to try it for me.
I say we call the Staggering Ox and we ask them
Like, let
their
us 3D
permission.
print 'em. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be licensing this thing.
You want to do
out
like a
to
cinnamon
different
roll
restaurants.
version of it, or like, for instance, an ice cream sundae. You could do a dessert version of it, because I'm only seeing sandwiches. I'm not seeing like desserts. You can do like
Yeah,
a waffle cone style filling.
I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Make it a sandwich bouquet like they had with the hot dogs we saw earlier.
Be on the lookout, sandwich company, because I'm
What
coming
now?
after your desserts.
Why don't we just do it and then ask for forgiveness?
Be like, yeah.
Permission.
I think that's what this guy did. He got a phone call. Well, at least he just got a phone call. But it kind of brought up the interesting thing. He says if sandwich company wanted to protect the idea, would that be a copyright? So they come, let's see, let me find it here. Let's see. As a practical example, a registered trademark on his viral dessert sensation, the Cronut. I think it seemed like I've heard of that. But that hasn't stopped Dunkin' Donuts from selling a ton of their promotional croissant donut. Oh, here's the scholarly review. Okay, let's see what that says. It says under copyright law, sculptural work is copyrightable if the work of original authorships is fixed in tangible medium of expression that demonstrates sufficient creativity, contains artist aspects that are separate from its utilitarian functions. So in other words, it's not function, it's not like patenting, but copyrights. And again, it kind of goes back to, okay, it's creative, it's copyrighted. So
if they'd drawn a picture of this on their menu, that would be
that could be trademarked, because then now you're back to letters and pictures.
Kind of like
So,
Mickey Mouse and
aspect,
Felix the
But
Cat.
creative like a sculpture. I almost think, you know, and you think about certain dishes that certain restaurants might be known for, like,
Yes.
okay, we have this specialty, well, let's
Like Pepe's pineapple granola.
yeah, there you go. So it's like their signature dish. It looks a certain way, but I think it'd have to be. So if somebody wanted to copy, they could probably just rearrange the stuff on the plate and say, no, this is different.
Like, I've seen like places like Tom Chi, which is like a grilled cheese place that's
Oh,
doing
yeah.
specialty
They
like
used to be
burgers.
here.
They've had like donut. Yeah, and you know, I'm really upset that they ended up leaving.
I know.
Yeah, grilled cheeses, I guess, just aren't that popular. And they had the donut ones. The only other place I've seen donut burgers, other than me making them in my kitchen at 2:30 in the morning, is out in like St. Louis or going to a Cardinal Stadium. I think
Yeah.
is where it was made popular. Was a Krispy Kreme donut burger.
I don't know if I could.
Probably gonna make a donut burger this week. Happening.
I just want one of these. That's all I know.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna
just-
figure out how to make that. I gotta ask them. Like, they had to probably come up with a patent to just make the bread itself, like the machine. Like,
Oh,
how
no.
are they making it?
Yeah.
Perhaps it's simply hollowed.
I don't know. I feel like that's molded in, like they've put it in some type of silicone mold.
It almost
to
looks
bake
like
it.
a molded, because you'd have to have. This is almost a makerspace problem right here.
Yeah, we're gonna get on that. Like, because I've seen
Look out,
chocolate.
staggering ox.
There
Right,
is
right after breakfast.
There
Right
is
after breakfast.
chocolate 3D printers that now you can be able to 3D print chocolate in any form or fashion. So we'll just have to figure this out now. So
It's got a seam on the sandwich.
It
yeah, I
does have a
noticed that,
seam
like as
down
if
the
it's been
side.
filled with something, or it's been baked on
Molded.
it. Yeah, I think it's been molded. That's interesting.
All right. Who's going to be first to contact the staggering ox and ask?
Oh no, I mean, what? They're like 3 hours behind us, aren't they? So
yeah.
Jimmy, grab your phone.
yeah, we're gonna
Let's-
we will find out from the staggering ox.
The staggering ox. I mean,
so
the
so
silo. I mean,
the
it looks like
staggering.
a silo.
Hey, I wonder if we can.
What if they shut down? Like, and I hope that
There they
doesn't
are.
happen to. Oh, they're here. Okay.
So 4 locations in Montana.
I'd go to Missoula. I don't like Billings, but we can go.
Let's go to
Missoula,
Missoula.
yeah.
Let's see what's on the Missoula.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
no!
it's
Well, what
closed.
about Billings? Billings is the
Okay.
capital of Montana. It's
So,
got to be in there.
Surely.
Oh, okay, all right, we're good.
All right. So
They got the Jamaican jerky. Let's see if on their menu if they still actually have the round things in it.
there
They do.
it is.
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
Same photo, by the
Okay,
way.
so we have to
Same
go to
photo,
the
too.
restaurant and see how they do it. We've got to see it because I haven't seen like what was it diners, drive-ins and dives or whatever. I haven't seen any of this.
I have not seen this. This is
That's brand new.
This is wild. So okay.
I would call it a barrel sandwich, not a clubfoot sandwich. It just looks like a barrel.
I
Barrel
think that's yeah. I like the other guy, the copycat's
Silo.
name better. The silo.
The
That-
silo, I like
that
that.
makes more sense. To
Especially
me.
from North Dakota, you would think of granaries.
Yeah, well, you're right.
That's not
right.
what a clubfoot looks like.
No, I don't know why they call probably
Now,
something
I've
to do
seen
with-
horses
the
with
ox.
club feet that are similar.
Maybe it's an ox kind of thing. Maybe that's it.
Well, I'm definitely going to be calling them tomorrow because now that's good. Because I'm going to show my coworkers this, and they're going to go, I don't even know how to try to think about. Like, we'll be sitting on that for a hot minute.
You'll wonder how. Yeah. Okay. How could we actually make one?
There's about like 3 hours in between where we're not running cash calls or impounds, and we're just like trying to figure out, like, well, what about this or what about this? And that right there is definitely going to be the one.
Oh goodness. All right, let's see. Let's move on here. Got a couple of items in the news. I'm going to jump right on over to this next one.
Oh yeah, the
About-
pop-up timer, by the way, as far as Thanksgiving goes.
Oh yeah,
That was
I'll
invented in the
bet
60s
you-
because it takes forever to slow cook.
Yep. I didn't think about that one. We should have had that one. All right, so this is a frying pan company sued for claiming temperatures that rival the sun. So this is the what's called the Shark Ninja frying pan, and they were claiming that their nonstick cookware were made at 30,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's the thing about it. Can you heat it? Can you heat it up? That's the burning question. So there was a class action lawsuit. Why would you have a class action lawsuit?
Because someone got upset because there's no way that they have done this.
Well, and okay, this is the argument here. It says instead of making its pans at a measly 900 degree temperature, Shark Ninja, he says it heats up the cookware to a maximum of 30,000 degrees. And according, let's see, fuses plasma ceramic particles to the surface of the pan, making it super hard, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, here's the thing about it. Tricia Brown, person who filed the lawsuit, isn't buying, cited NASA recently said the surface of the sun is a blistering 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning Shark Ninja's manufacturing process reached 3 times that temperature.
It's really good.
So they argue that the Shark Ninja pans temperature is a physical impossibility, given that aluminum vaporizes into gas at 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And the lawsuit also points that it advertised the pan oven safe only up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. which I
Let's say, who's rocking an oven with 30,000 degrees Fahrenheit? And first off, where'd they find the testing that has something running
We-
at 30,000 degrees
we
Fahrenheit?
flip this pan to the sun.
Now, is it Celsius or is it, are they talking in Celsius or Fahrenheit for the 30,000 degrees? Because if it's Celsius, they're definitely
Did they
upwind.
Nope, they said Fahrenheit.
Well,
They
okay.
said Fahrenheit.
So what's the second most strongest? Because not many people know about tantalum, but graphite is the second highest melting temperature, and that's it's like 65 or 6,600 degrees for graphite to melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not happening with that
So
tan.
how does she intend to prove this is false?
Oh, I think she was upset and
Doesn't
just
she
suing
have to
him.
prove that it's false? They made a statement, so doesn't she have to counter that and say, logic
Like-
would dictate that it's
Well,
not right.
I think
Here's a lawsuit.
I think she's making the argument right here. She says that aluminum vaporizes in the gas at 4,478 degrees Fahrenheit. But and then it says that the pan's only oven safe, but they're not talking about the surface. Now they countered with something I thought, and I kind of thought, okay, yeah, it's just a lot of stale schlock.
Yeah.
You know, they were trying to do a Billy Mays-esque. It withstands the power of the sun times 3, you know, something like that. So the newest wrinkle in nonstick coating called ceramic titanium, developed in Denmark and used on saucepan cookware, a mixture of titanium and ceramic so hot, 30,000 degrees, that the atoms are broken down into a cloud of charged particles. A plasma, and is fired at supersonic speed at the surface of the aluminum pan where it anchors itself. They're doing all this to a cooking pan right into the metal, making it extremely hard, unscratchable surface. So I wonder if they took this Denmark process and said, hey, look, we got a claim. Now we can say our temperature can reach this degree. So yeah, but you're right, Chris. Who's gonna test this thing to know?
I don't think there's an oven. I don't think there's a laser. Like, does laser emit like temperature or whatever based off its heat or whatever?
Yeah,
its power?
how
So
high?
I don't think they're claiming that the pan can go that high.
No, I don't think it's just the surface.
Not even that. They're claiming the process of making it.
Oh,
The particles that they were shooting at in the plasma were
Yeah.
30,000.
Well, think about it.
And
This,
you ever see the plasma for the Tesla
But if the
bulbs?
sun-
yeah.
Those streams in there are plasma streams, and they're super hot, but that's like a hair. They're very
Yeah.
thin,
Very,
so they don't
very thin.
melt the glass. They don't melt. the
It's
It's
just
a
at that
plasma
one
stream.
point. You know, there is a guy down in Florida that he has got a YouTube channel. I want to say it's Green Power Energy. I'm probably not saying it right. And he claims that he didn't claim. He's actually got these giant Fresnel lenses. You ever seen these things? These big giant lenses, and he puts them in this frame
Yeah.
and he aims them
oh, and he
at the sun, and he's like melting concrete and rocks, and he's like turning rocks into lava live on his YouTube channel. It's really cool to watch. But I mean, it's like a death ray that goes through. I don't know how hot that thing gets, but it's
The buildings in England, they had the coating on the outside and it's just the right angle that the automobiles on the bottom.
Oh yeah, it was catching the cars on fire and stuff. They had to redo
Yeah.
all the glass on the. Was it the
Oh,
shard?
really?
I think it was. I think it was the shard skyscraper, and there was one in New York that did that too. But the windows, the reflective material they put on there to make sure that no one was getting burned by the sun on the inside or the heat, it would reflect down, but the angle it was set at, it was catching cars on fire at the
oh my
bottom.
gosh.
Yeah, there was a big
They have-
stewed about that.
Yes, there was.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about it with the 30,000 degrees or whatever, like if you touch a fire real quick, you're not going to get burned, right?
yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe there's that. What's that process where water vapor it starts to like bubble or whatever? Where
Oh yeah.
starts with an L, not Lichtenberg. Ludenfrost or Leidenfrost effect. Yeah, Leidenfrost effect. Yeah, so pretty much if you go just touch something, maybe it's just getting the water off. So when they're blasting that 30,000, because plasma does
Yeah.
actually heat up like that, but we don't have enough energy to be able to have a constant plasma charge. So maybe it's just like a pulse, just a quick.
Just enough
Like,
for them
we
to
just
claim
did
it
it
in an ad.
for them to say, give us our medal. We did our 30,000 degrees.
Right. And we won the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Just like George said, you know.
Yeah. And why would somebody want to sue over the fact, a claim of,
Well, Red Bull gives you wings. Remember that lawsuit? They literally sued Red Bull, and now they never can have another commercial that says gives you wings.
really?
They got sued.
I
They
did not know
lost.
that.
Yes, so now
That's
when you
crazy.
see Red Bull commercials, you can't, it doesn't show anything where it says give you wings.
They're afraid.
Because some guy was like, yo, it doesn't give you wings. I'm going to sue you over this. I've been drinking
Buffalo
Red Bull for
wings,
10 years to get my wings, and they're not here.
Oh my
Wings is
God.
now being sued because they're not buffalo wings.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I know.
I can't wait for that one. That one's going to be beautiful.
You know.
It's too much anymore.
I cannot wait for that one to come out. B-dubs, be on the
God.
lookout. You're in trouble. And Tyson.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we are at the point now. Is our guy with us? I don't see him. We were going to have a featured inventor, and I don't see him on the. Let me double check something here. Hang on just a second. Mark says, I think we're in. So we're going to have Mark Halbert as our featured inventor tonight. And
Are we here?
are we here? Are you, Mark? Are you there?
Yeah, I think so.
Hi, Mark. Great, great. I did not see you there.
Okay. I was
We're,
hiding.
we're running a little late tonight.
That's
We're
okay.
kind of having some fun here, but I'm going to add you in the spotlight here. And so Mark's our featured inventor tonight, and he is the inventor of the Slope Master. He's a CEO of Slope Master Innovations. And I had the pleasure of having him at our Kentucky State Fair New Innovations booth, and got to just learn all about what you had, and also just got to see your customer responses in the booth as well. And it's an amazing product. So Mark, just tell us a little bit about who you are and the Slope Master and what it is, how it works. I'm going to share the screen and show some of your videos.
Okay. What is it we need to tell you about? I'm just
So the Slope Master is basically a
okay.
it's a remote control lawnmower, but it's a lot more than just a remote control lawnmower.
Oh, I want one. Oh, that's great. I have so many hills.
Oh, just what you
yeah.
see.
This takes the danger away, so you're not out there trying to take a zero turn where it should be. You know, that was mainly the goal here is to create a machine that can mow these hillsides and where people were trying to do it on a zero turn or ride mowers, and so we've just taken all the danger away from it and just put these guys usually sit in their truck with the air conditioning on and then just run it with one thumb. That's all it takes. So
That's amazing.
mm-hmm.
Cool. So what kind of slope will it work on, Mark?
Oh, we can do 60 degrees all day long. It'll handle it, and the
Wow.
under handle it as well. That was the biggest thing we had to solve here was undercarriage issues where you're on a steep slope and the machine weighs about 1,400 pounds. So and you're running, like 8 hours straight. So you've got to make that undercarriage where you got to keep the tracks on and it doesn't fall apart.
Wow.
What's that lawn
So
company? Skag?
Skag.
Yeah, Skag lawnmowers. Yeah, that takes them right out of the water.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Are his primary customers commercial cities, states?
I'd say Gatlinburg would be the first.
Who's your big customer, Mark?
Well, my biggest customers are cities and colleges. And matter of fact, I just delivered one, I guess it's been a month back to a nuclear power plant.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so cool. That is so cool. Well, Mark, how'd you come up with your idea?
I had a hill I had to weed eat a lot.
That was
The mother of invention right there.
No, there's more in depth than that. I mean, I was actually I grew up here in southeastern Kentucky, and it's all hills. I always had access to a machine shop, welding equipment, and I started welding when I was like 9 years old because I thought it was the most awesome thing to be able to just sit there and burn rods. But I wanted a go kart, so I had to build me a go kart. So and I figured that out, and we did it. And then when I was in the military, I ended up being a track vehicle mechanic on an amphibious vehicle. And then working here in the coal fields, I was on strip jobs and underground equipment and repairing. And so I've got a background of years of so, and I just decided to try to, well, actually I seen a similar idea in popular science where somebody had taken a little push mower, two wheelbarrow wheels, two electric motors on the rear, and two floating wheels on the front, and they put RC equipment on it. And I'm like, I looked at that and I said, there needs to be an industrial grade of this idea. So then all that just came together in one pool, and that's what I came up with. And I like what you said earlier, Don, about staying ahead of big corporation stuff. And I'm actually doing that. That's my strategy. And as I've got other models that I'm doing, and I keep improving what I've got and going. And I have something above this and something below it. And so that's where we're about ready to build a new shop. We've bought a building, and it should be delivered next week. And we're doing some earthwork and cutting trees and that sort of thing, and just trying to grow out, as I call it, grow out of the fish bowl into the aquarium.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where
Name of the company.
Mark, tell us the name of the company and
Slope Master Innovations. I've got a YouTube channel, website, but put all three words in Slope Master Innovations, and on YouTube you can see I got a better video than that than what you're showing there, and more up to date.
Winch on it too.
Now that will cut our bluegrass here in Lexington, won't it?
Yes, absolutely. It'll cut deep stuff on a degree slope.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is cool stuff, Mark.
And it's fun. I have to tell you, when you start mowing with it, it becomes habit forming. See the guy sitting there on his steering wheel there, he's just kicking back and mowing the side of the hill.
That is wild.
1,400 pounds.
But I've seen autonomous ones though too. Like, so you've seen like the small ones that are autonomous and stuff. Nothing is like compared to what he's got with this Slope Master and stuff. Because I've seen that little bitty one, and I've literally seen like a small branch. Because you've seen YouTubers where they've got their automatic lawnmowers, and they're like really tiny compared to this thing, and they get stopped for like almost not like big dog poop or whatever on the ground. And the lawnmower's like, no, I'm not doing that. This Slope Master could probably cut through a grizzly bear and still keep on going uphill. Do you, by any chance, did you design all of this like with Fusion 360 with a team? Did you, what was your designing as far as like electrical or sorry, as far as computing goes?
I actually I just built it myself just out of my head. I've got, I had some, a lathe and a welder and tools. Good. I got pretty good tools, and I just built a prototype, and it worked. And then I made the one you just seen there. That was the second one, and I just made it pretty from that point. I made it look. And the first one was a little rough, but this one here, and they still look real close to this, right? I've upgraded the undercarriage more than what you see there, and I've got a bigger sprocket on it. That had an 8-tooth. I went to a 12, and that gave me a lot more speed. And then and plus and then I made the roller frames. I've got a plasma table, and I burn those plates out of 3/8, and then I weld it all together, add the wheels, and then and do some machine work where they bolt on, where the whole you take out 6 bolts and that whole track will come off, roller frame and all, and then you could actually put it on a table and rebuild it.
Wow.
Okay. What about trailer? Like I noticed that it looks like the trailer that you have, it looks like that's a custom built trailer. Is it proprietary or can it go on most trailers?
No, it's 84 inches wide. The 60-inch cut is, and that's a 52 there. And it will just, the 52 will go, I think what a 76-inch wide between the fenders. It'll make it. The 52-inch cut will, but the 60 won't. You need a flatbed trailer.
Okay.
But what I'm doing with my trailer is I'm folding my fenders out and getting the mower up past them. Then I'm closing them back. So,
As far as the tracks go and stuff like that, one of the things, and you of course you said you were you rolled around in some tanks and a few other things or whatever in the military. What about like we're a rocky state and stuff. How well does it go over the terrain of rock? And I know you're not supposed to take a lawnmower and go over across rocks, but how well does it do as far as like the really bumpy stuff like that? How does it just
it does. It really does. And a very steep, ruddy, rolling rough stuff, it'll do it. It'll go. But and you can turn the deck on and off on the remote itself. So if you get in something and you start like scalping rocks or something, you can just flip it off and maneuver your way through. And then when you get back where there's no debris, then you just flip it back on and go. And it will eat an 1.5-inch sapling. I mean, it weighs it. It will, the way it's set up there, the framework under the bottom will fold the sapling down, and you back over top of it. And then the little stick will jump up. Then you go back the other way, and then you take it out. A couple licks and it's gone.
And it's really low to the ground, so it's got a good center of gravity too, so that way you're not worrying about tilting or anything.
No,
And
it
it's
won't.
really wide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that's the YouTube video there, and if you watch that, you can get a pretty good shot of how steep that is. I mowed that whole hill there. What time they were filming, we'd stop a little bit and talk, and then I'd go back to work, and I mean, it just makes small work of what we used to, like try to weed eat or just, I mean, it just makes small work of it.
Well, there's nothing really that's stopping it. I'm guessing you guys have used that winch going up really, really steep hills. I'm sure you've used the winch while rotating it, the PTO, and actually going up.
No, the winch is not, you don't pull it, it'll climb anything. It'll make its own. The winch is for if you're up on a hill and you, like, say, for example, you hoof up a big rock and you hang yourself up, or you get in a big rut or something, you slide over the hill, get one tray and you bottom out, which that's all operator error usually, but you can just take that winch.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that to a D130 a couple times. I've done that to a Skag before as well.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. That is awesome.
And that's Slope Master Innovations.
Yes.
We'd really like to have you, if you're like in Kentucky, we really like to have you like show your invention actually to a few of our members and stuff. This is something that's really, really cool. So
yeah, aren't you just in Lexington?
Yeah, we're in Lexington. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only 100 miles from you.
That ain't nothing.
That's just down the road.
Oh,
well, Mark, what was the hardest part of the whole journey for you, you think?
What's that?
What was the hardest part of the whole journey for you? What was the toughest part to get through?
Oh God, let's see. I don't think there has been one. It's been a wonderful journey. I mean, yeah. It's not really hard. I mean, it's been awesome, and met a lot of people, and been to a bunch of the SOAR summits and then
Yeah.
the state fair we done together and
Yep.
uh,
What do you think helped you to the most to kind of get you to where you are now?
God, just all the good people that I've met. Just I'd have to say that especially a lot of the SOAR people. I mean,
Yeah.
they've helped a lot, and you, for example, and just getting it out there, and then but now. I mean, and of course, I've got grit. I mean, I get in there and I do it. I make it. I get dirty and I grind it out and make it go. And that, which to me, that's hard work, I guess, to some people, but to me, that's what I like. So
Yeah.
Is it patented?
you can't patent it. Roller tracks have already been invented, and so is remote control systems. So I need something a little more novel to patent. So, but now I like the fact that where you were talking about the trademark thing. I think that needs
absolutely.
You need to patent the manufacturing process of it. So
That's
that way
possible.
you can manufacture the
And that'd still be a trade secret. So
yeah, that's true. Of like, for instance, you're programming to your remote of how you're operating the slope master or the software that you use as far as the technology goes with that. I'm wondering if there's a way that you could be able to either trademark or patent the process. There's manufacturing patents, there's processing patents, there's plant patents. Just wondering if there was a way that you could be able to do that with how you built it.
I don't know. I mean, well, there was one thing I did do here is I made it. It's not just a one step process on the radio system. It's basically I use two different. I use like I guess a digital relay that pushes a mechanical relay. So in other words, the digital relay would handle it, but they're only good for like 10 amps. And the mechanical relays, like it's like an automotive relay. It's good for 40 amps. So I just have the little relay tell the big one to handle all the power, all the voltage. So that just makes it a whole lot tougher.
very cool. Very cool.
It's actually simple, but it's rigid, as far as I've got them out there now that's 3 years old that still got the same electronics in them.
Wow.
Yeah. And then of course we had to make it before you shut it down. It's got, I think, 5 ways to shut. You can turn the key off and kill it. You've got an e-stop beside the key that will kill it. You can turn the ignition off on the transmitter, or you can turn the transmitter off itself. Or if it goes out of like half a mile away, loses signal, it shuts everything down. And it also shuts down the fuel and the ignition simultaneously. And or if you fall down and knock the batteries out of the transmitter, it shuts it all down. So you've got that many ways to kill it.
Wow. That's really yeah. So you really did think about all the things or whatever. Like most riding lawnmowers, only safety feature they got is as soon as you come up off the seat and it's not in its e-brake mode, it's like, no, it'll shut off. Or you're
bypass that.
Yeah, and you can bypass that. There's a YouTube video for that. And then but that's really impressive. And also the gas shut off, the fact that you even have that available that's electronically driven, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it shuts fuel and the ignition, together.
It's fuel injected, isn't it?
No, it has carburetor.
Huh.
Wow.
And he's still, yeah.
What kind of horsepower engine you got?
The 52 uses a 23 horsepower. I actually use Kawasaki engines exclusively, but now the 52 inch has a 23 horse Kawasaki. The 60 inch has a 24 inch Kawasaki, but now I did just this year create a separate model that's a 61 inch cut, and it had a 40 horsepower
wow.
It.
And you can race these.
You ever thought about
Oh,
racing them, Mark?
Yeah. Huh?
You ever thought about racing them?
I'll take them
Chris,
That,
Chris said you could
Actually-
race these.
we can have a slope master race. We have the parking lot for it, but I was like 40 horsepower. Oh my gosh.
If you go to
Hot
my
rockets.
Facebook page, if you go to my Facebook page, you can see the 40 horsepower model video, and I call it the Beast. It's gray and yellow. It's different color. And but if you go to my Facebook page, it's Slope Master Innovations Facebook, and you'll see that video, and it's awesome. There it is. I see it. There, you just about had it. Roll it on. I'm going. You're getting closer. It should come up. There's the new roller frame system. Keep on going. Keep on. There it is. Click on that. That's the 40
How
horse.
fast it's going.
That it's very fast.
And that's cutting. That's cutting at the same time.
Deep stuff.
Wow.
That's a pretty steep hill. I hit a tree right there. Look. See, I
Yeah,
just
oh, yeah. Oh, hey, but you gotta win. Look at he just backs up like it's nothing.
I know.
Oh yeah, you don't turn. You don't turn it. You just go back and forth.
Yeah, I was gonna say how. So with it being 1,400 pounds because of the tracks and stuff, you have to learn how to get a certain finesse when you're buying this product, that you want to make sure that whoever the client you're mowing for and stuff, tracks, of course, as you notice over time, going like that creates a lot of friction and it could damage the grass and stuff. So I'm guessing there's a certain way of how you guys are steering these properly.
Yeah, I steer it with one thumb. That's all it takes. And it's got a real deep lug on the tracks. It's real rough. But you don't tire up the ground unless you slew it around like trying to do a 360.
Well, with a 40 horsepower mower, I'm going to be doing donuts in it. I'm going to try it.
It will.
On purpose.
Yeah, that'll be on purpose. I'll be like,
And,
I'll replace that grass later.
I named that one the Beast. And I think if you scroll on down so where you can see it, I think there's a picture on there of it, of the graphics. There it is.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Oh wow. The Beast. Oh, there's the name.
So let me ask you this. Can you do other innovations, like, for instance, while it's really good at sloping and stuff, is there other things like how you see with some
Yeah.
mowers that they have cut attachments?
Well, what I've been doing, one of my own, and where we've been cutting trees on the side of the hill, it's got that winch cable on it. We just spooled winch cable out and went and tied her to the trees, and we pull the trees out of the hill and cut them up and put them in a burn pile. So we're using it for a mule.
What about like
Wow.
forking and stuff like that, or like, you putting a blade on the end of it or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could use that also for a lot of loggers and stuff. There was a way that you could trailer hitch that to be able to driving it straight up that hill for a lot of loggers and stuff.
Well, it's not big enough to pull big trees, but this would be like the ultimate. If you had your own farm, this is what you need.
Yeah.
You could get off of that tractor in the bush hog, and once you got things cleaned up, you could manicure a farm with this. And yeah, you could do a lot of work on your farm. It'd be really nice and clean. Make it look like a golf course. It's like the guy over in Pikeville has a trailer park. I mean, I know trailer park sounds sleazy, but he's got one of my mowers over there. It takes him 26 hours to mow the entire holler. He goes way up into the tree lines. And it's the most immaculate trailer park you will ever see. And the whole holler.
For those of you not from Kentucky, holler means kind of
sheltered valley.
Yeah, it's between two hills.
Valley.
Valley, there you go.
Valley.
My aunt she's from New England, and she was like, "What's a holler?" I said, "Well, it's a shelter."
The same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody knows what a holler is, right?
Yeah. Tell you.
Oh, well, Mark, this is so cool. I loved how you mentioned that people helped you a lot, and that was the thing that really, it's all about connections and all about being connected to other people. So I love that. that part for you. So Mark, if they were wanting to, if someone is interested or knows a municipality or some other or a nuclear facility that is interested in buying one of these, where do they need to go?
They can do the Facebook page, or they can do YouTube, or um, the website. It has all. It has. There's an info email there. They can send me a message on an email, and
Okay.
it's info@slopemasterinnovations.com, or you can just email me at mark@slopemasterinnovations.com, or just call the number right there, the 61004. That comes straight to me. And yeah, and I'm a little old school. I'd rather have a phone call.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no,
I have Julie.
Phone calls are going to come back. That's what I'm thinking. I'm predicting that right now. So.
I bought that building the other day, and when I was at the Source Summit, and I was shopping online, and then I ended up buying a building, and then about a week later, I started getting calls. I started getting a few calls or a few emails, and then eventually I started getting calls. I said, "Well, I've already bought one." I said, "If you had called me like these people did, I probably would have bought it from you." But no, they wanted to eat. And I told that one girl, I said, "I know this sounds crazy, but." Okay, but anyway, I do have a
Celeste has a question. Celeste from South Africa. She said, "What happens to the cut grass?"
It mulches it.
Oh,
Creates nitrogen.
You look at the video on the bees and watch it and look at how it's finishing. That's the finish.
wow. So so it's creating nitrogen as it cuts the grass. Wow. That is so cool. That is so cool. Well, Mark, we're so proud of where you're at with this, and things are going forward with it. And it looks like you're selling products and you're moving stuff out. This kind of success story we like to see, and the forward movement, and I think it'll help inspire a lot of other people. So everybody, let's celebrate Mark and give him a round of applause.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks so much, Mark. We really appreciate you sharing all this with us, and we hope to be talking with you really soon about upcoming stuff. So.
Okay, well, you guys come and see me.
All right, we'll do it. I know where you're at. I know that part of the country. My wife's from that part of the country. So.
Yeah, I know. I graduated high school with her.
Yeah, I know. We didn't even know each other. We were in the booth together, and we suddenly found out that he went to high school with my wife. So,
yeah.
What are the chances?
Good deal. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Mark. Appreciate it.
Nice talking to you other guys. Thank you all.
Nice talking to you all too.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
All right, guys. I think that wraps it up. Any parting thoughts from everybody?
Really want that mower.
You really want the
I
mower?
really do. Like, we could just trade the Mach-E. We can get the mower. Like, just ride around with that all day. But like 40 horsepower, that is really, I've never seen a mower with 40 horsepower before. Not once.
You really want to race these.
Look, I really want to race them. I really think we should do like a grown-up version of BattleBots. If we all remember that's a way more advanced version. We can put full chainsaws on that thing, and we can really do something cool. But
could you imagine?
Damaging.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could really
Devastating.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing: you'd always be worried because remember Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah. Then they take you add AI, you take over, and that's the end of it all.
Be scary. Be like, oh my gosh, and I got to go up this hill. Maybe I'll lose him. No, it's literally made for going up hills.
Oh gosh. So, all right, Lex Makerspace. So, if they're interested in Makerspace and Makerspace activity, where do they need to go?
Lexington Makerspace at I'm sorry, lexmake.org.
Lexmake.org.
And the site is now up and running. We will have our first orientations and member signups on Tuesday starting at 3 p.m. And then we understand people work from 9 to 5. So we have another one at 7 p.m. We do require a photo ID. And then we can be able to get you set up and your forms signed and get you set up for some classes and be able to work on the equipment.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I have put your link and the Slope Master link in the chat. And thank you again for everybody. David, you got any parting thoughts?
Don and George, I want to thank you both for allowing us to be here. This has been informative for me,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and I have tremendously enjoyed this.
well, we really enjoyed having you.
And I don't think I said anything off color that
You've not got us
offended.
kicked off. You've not got us
I'm
kicked off
somewhat
YouTube.
surprised at that. You warned me several times before that.
You did good.
Thank you.
Oh.
And thank you for all those that you both have helped in the past,
Well, we
and
appreciate
more so future.
Well, we appreciate that. We'd love to have you all back. Julie, any parting thoughts?
Just
Make everything.
make everything, yeah.
Make everything. I love that.
And the website will evolve over time. We literally just made it live right before we started live streaming.
Hashtag make everything.
And we are going to eventually get to that. We'll trademark make everything.
I think you should.
So
And let's make.
and LexMake,
And
yeah,
LexMake,
that's
yeah,
getting
yeah.
trademarked.
Oh yeah, you know.
Even though we just said it on this stream, so we gotta work quick
All
now.
right, we'll nail it down.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you again, everybody. Thank you all for thank the Inner Circle people for on Zoom for being here, and everyone on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next month. We'll keep your watch your email inbox. Go to kyinventors.org for more information about what we do at the Inventors Network, and stay tuned. We got more stuff coming. Everybody have a great night.
Good night, everyone.